You have been taught that motion is the measure of progress. That value comes from velocity, and that stillness is waste. The world around you rewards momentum and measures success in footsteps, taken tasks, completed achievements, stacked like bricks in a tower of proof. And so, in this constant chase, you've learned to fear the pause. You've come to distrust the quiet. But the ancient ones, those who whispered truths before time hardened into clocks, knew differently. Thoth did not move to know. He became still. The scribes of the divine did not gather wisdom through noise, but by sinking into the soft hum beneath it. In the silence between thoughts, they touched the current that pulses beneath all form. In the spaces between moments, they remembered who they were beyond the veil of urgency. Stillness is not the absence of life. It is the breath that gives life meaning. It is the sacred pause before the dancer steps, the musician plays, the sun rises. And it is in this stillness that you begin to remember the higher rhythm from which all things flow. The Kybalion begins with the principle of mentalism. All is mind. But mind does not mean thought. It is the fabric of being, the awareness that watches the dance of motion without being caught in it. And that awareness lives in you. It is you. There is a space within you that never rushes, a center that does not hurry, a knowing that speaks in still whispers. You do not need to find it. It is always here. You only need to stop long enough to hear it. Imagine standing at the center of a vast turning wheel. Around you, the spokes spin with the chaos of your day's duties, desires, distractions. But the hub does not move. It anchors the entire structure. It is the axis of being. And you, when you return to stillness, step back into that center. From there, the movement becomes manageable. The rhythm becomes visible. Life becomes music, not noise. A man runs from task to task, believing that each completed box will bring him peace. But peace never comes because he is not aligned with the rhythm of being. He is entranced by the rhythm of doing. One day, exhausted, he sits beneath a tree. He does nothing. He listens. And in that listening, a deeper presence awakens. The world slows. His breath deepens. For the first time, he feels truly alive. Not because he moved, but because he finally stopped. You don't need to retreat to a mountain to find this stillness. It lives in every moment, beneath the next breath, behind the next blink. Try it now. Exhale slowly. Let the breath return on its own. And in the space between the out-breath and the next in-breath, notice the silence. That is the door, the passage, the bridge to the realm beyond effort. You may feel resistance at first. The modern mind fears the pause. It wants maze to affirm its identity. But if you stay, if you soften, the stillness will reveal its gift. It is not nothing, it is everything. It is the field of all potential before form arises. It is the womb of creation, the source of rhythm itself. Stillness does not mean inaction. It means conscious presence. When you act from stillness, your doing becomes sacred. It is not random movement. It is rhythm made manifest. It is the kind of motion that arises from listening, not escaping. From alignment, not obligation. So begin here. with this breath, with this moment. Set down the myth that you must always be moving. Let go of the lie that says value is found in speed. Slow down. Listen. Feel the rhythm beneath your thoughts. Feel the life that lives beneath your life. Because in the stillness between worlds, your true self waits. Not idle, but radiant. Not empty, but full of knowing. And when you meet it, there everything begins to move. Not because you pushed it, but because you finally aligned with the rhythm that was waiting to carry you all along. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape the world, but to listen more deeply to it. Beneath the flicker of thought and the beat of your heart, there is a deeper rhythm. It does not begin or end. It simply is. This rhythm is not yours alone. It belongs to the all. It is the original breath, the primal cadence, the pulse that spirals through galaxies and raindrops alike. And when you learn to feel it, to honor it, to tune your being to its silent tempo, life ceases to resist you. It begins to rise up and meet you. The Kybalion calls this the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. This is not metaphor. It is the heartbeat of existence itself. Look around. The moon waxes and wanes. The ocean swells and recedes. Your lungs expand and contract. Even thought, even emotion moves in tides. Rhythm is not just pattern, it is sacred intelligence. It is the divine choreography of becoming, and you, like all things, are woven into it. You do not have to create rhythm. You are rhythm. But somewhere along the path, you were taught to fight this flow, to expect only expansion, only growth, only ascent. You were told that contraction meant failure, that retreat meant weakness. And so when the tide pulls back, you panic, you cling, you push against the ebb. But nature does not fear the low tide. It knows the wave must fall before it can rise again. It knows that in the pause between peaks, nourishment gathers clarity, deepens, wisdom ferments. A woman begins a creative project. Inspiration floods her, and for weeks she flows effortlessly. Then silence. She feels blocked. Doubt creeps in. She thinks it's over. But instead of forcing herself to continue, she rests. She listens. She walks, and nature reads dreams. Days later, the flow returns richer, deeper, more whole, not despite the pause, but because of it. To live in harmony with the principle of rhythm is to stop fearing your own cycles. It is to trust that every exhale is followed by an inhale, that every winter gives way to spring, that your energy, your emotions, your insight will all wax and wane, and that this does not diminish your power, it completes it. Begin to notice your personal rhythms. Perhaps you feel alive in the early morning or grounded in the hush of twilight. Perhaps your creativity flows in bursts, not steady streams. Perhaps your body asks for stillness every seventh day. These are not flaws in your design. They are your unique expression of the universal pulse. Honor them. Work with them. Live by them. You can start by integrating small rituals of awareness. Begin your day by attuning to your inner rhythm. How do you feel in this moment? Not how should you feel, but what frequency is naturally present. Throughout the day, pause and notice. Am I moving in alignment with my current, or am I paddling against it? This level of self-listening invites life to cooperate. Instead of swimming upstream, you become the river. Instead of pushing the wheel, you become its turning. And something begins to shift. You stop trying to match the pace of others. You stop comparing your journey to timelines not made for you. You begin to trust that your rhythm is not a mistake, it is a signature. A sacred drumbeat through which the all expresses itself in your form. This trust opens doors no effort could. Opportunities arrive in time. Rest feels purposeful. Action feels inspired. You begin to live as nature lives, not in resistance, but in cadence. Not in force, but in flow. So listen, not to clocks, but to currents. Not to pressure, but to pulse. The rhythm of the all is calling not as command, but as remembrance. When you move with it, you move with power. When you rest with it, you rest in grace. And in this dance between stillness and motion, you find the path not only to peace, but to higher realms of being. There is a place within you where time dissolves, a space so subtle it is often overlooked, yet so profound it holds the key to the divine. This is the pause. Not the break between actions, but the stillness between worlds. A threshold, a veil, a moment that opens not outward, but inward into realms beyond the visible. You've walked through it before, though you may not have known it. In the second, before you fall asleep, when dreams whisper your name. In the hush after music stops when the air still echoes with feeling. In the breath between words, when a truth beyond language stirs. These are the doorways, the silent portals through which the higher realms speak. Not with thunder or spectacle, but with presence. And it is only in stillness that you can hear them. The Kybalion speaks of the principle of mentalism. The all is mind. But beneath even thought there is awareness. And beneath awareness there is being. Pure, undivided being. This is the frequency of the higher realms. Not frantic, not striving, but perfectly still. And yet, incredibly alive. To enter this space, you must learn to slow your vibration, to stop chasing insight and become the receiver of it. You cannot force this entrance. You can only allow it. It opens when the mind softens, when the body releases, when you surrender the need to grasp. It opens in rest, in reverence, in the quiet trust that nothing more is needed right now. A man sits beneath a night sky full of questions. He's been seeking answers in books and teachers and thoughts. But tonight he stops. He watches the stars, feels the breeze. He becomes still. And in that stillness, something ancientness awakens. Not a sentence, not a solution, but a knowing, a presence, a sense that he is not alone and never has been. This is the portal. You need not retreat to mountaintops to find it. You need only return to the present moment with full attention. You need only find the gap between this breath and the next. Let your awareness rest there. not trying to understand, just being. The body can help you. The breath can guide you. Each inhale is the world arriving. Each exhale, the world dissolving. And in between, in that suspended still point, there is the gateway. Sit with it. Linger there. Let it expand. Do not be surprised if the mind resists. It is not used to silence. It may fill the pause with thoughts, distractions, doubts. That is okay. Let them pass like clouds. Keep returning. The pause is always there just beneath the noise. In time, the stillness becomes familiar. Not empty but full. Not void but sacred. You begin to feel the presence of the higher realms, not as distant heavens, but as frequencies interwoven with your own. Guidance arises not from effort, but from attunement. You begin to know without thinking, to see without looking, to receive without asking. And life begins to shift. You feel calmer, more connected. The world no longer feels separate from you. It feels like an echo of the silence you've touched. Your choices become clearer. Your relationships soften. You live from a depth that others can feel, even if they don't understand. This is the gift of the pause. It is the space where all things are born, where your vibration is recalibrated, where the veil thins and the divine steps close. To return to this space, make it a practice, a ritual. 1 minute of stillness before rising. A breath between conversations. A pause before sleep. The more you visit, the wider the portal opens. Until stillness is no longer something you enter, it is something you carry. And when you carry it, you walk between worlds. So, do not fear the pause. It is not absence. It is arrival. It is the space where the music of the soul plays softest. And when you learn to listen, there the universe begins to speak not in noise, but in knowing. Life swings, always. This is not chaos. It is rhythm. Every high has its echo in a low. Every forward stride is followed by stillness. The Hermetic Principle of Rhythm reveals this eternal truth. The pendulum swing manifests in everything, and yet most fear the swing. They chase the ascent and resist the descent, never realizing that both are sacred. Both are teachers. Both are necessary. You are not here to stop the pendulum. You are here to ride it. Not like a victim flung from joy to despair, but like a mystic surfer moving with the tide anchored in the deep. The Kybalion goes further. The master polarizes himself at the point at which he desires to rest and then neutralizes the rhythmic swing of the pendulum. This does not mean you avoid the lows. It means you no longer identify with them. You rise above their pull, observing from a higher place. But how? First, by knowing that the swing is not punishment, it is balance. You cannot stretch into great joy without also touching the depths of feeling. The universe is whole, and it teaches in opposites. If you are in a descent, it does not mean you failed. It means you are gathering power, perspective, depth. A woman feels lost after a period of deep spiritual clarity. Her mornings feel dull, her intuition quiet. She fears she's fallen backwards, but instead of pushing through, she surrenders. She lets the wave carry her inward. And there, in the dark, she meets an older version of herself, still asking for healing. She holds that version, and something within softens. When clarity returns, it is more spacious, more integrated. Her descent was not a detour, it was deepening. This is the gift of rhythm. It reveals what is unhealed. The swing downward invites you to meet what still asks for your love. If you resist it, you only prolong the discomfort. If you embrace it, you alchemize it. To ride the pendulum with grace, begin by noticing your current position on the swing. Are you expanding or contracting, rising or integrating? Do not judge. Simply name it. Then ask, what is this phase offering me? If you are in a high, enjoy it, but do not cling. Give thanks. Ground. Share. If you are in a low, stay present. Rest. Listen. Know it will pass. Know it has something to offer that the high cannot teach. There is no shame in stillness, no failure in quiet. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, so do you. Just as the ocean pulls back before it surges forward, so must your soul. To support this rhythm, create practices that hold you through the swings. Breathwork, journaling, stillness, movement. Let each tool become a rhythm within the greater rhythm, a way to remember your center, even as the outer world sways. And most of all, remember, you are not the swing. You are the axis, the still point, the one who watches, the one who breathes, the one who remembers. The more you align with that axis, the less the swing pulls you. Not because it stops, but because your awareness expands beyond its reach. You become like the tree that bends with the wind but does not break. Like the moon that reflects every phase with equal grace. This is vibrational mastery. Not escaping emotion, but transmuting it. Not denying rhythm, but riding it with open arms. So when the pendulum swings again, and it will welcome it, say, thank you for the rise. Thank you for the fall. I trust the rhythm because I trust the all. And in that trust, you'll find a new kind of stillness, not in the absence of movement, but in the presence of wisdom. At first, you try to find the rhythm. You listen for it, follow it, practice its movements. But then, something changes. Slowly, gently, you stop reaching for the rhythm and begin to realize that it was never outside you. It has always lived within your being, beneath the breath, beneath the heartbeat, beneath the thoughts. You are not dancing with the rhythm. You are the rhythm. This is the return. The sacred remembering that all Hermetic principles, mentalism, rhythm, polarity, correspondence point back to one source, the all, the one mind, the silent pulse from which all arises and to which all returns. And this all is not separate from you, it is you. You are not a part of the universe trying to align. You are the universe aware of itself. The Kybalion speaks of rising above the law, not by rejecting it, but by understanding it. When you become the rhythm, you cease to struggle with tides or timing. You no longer seek to force manifestation, because you realize when you are the rhythm, your desires and your destiny are already synchronized. They do not need to be created. They only need to be expressed. A man once wrestled with control. He mapped, planned, willed his way through life. But the more he gripped, the more things slipped. One day in surrender, he stopped trying to make the river move faster. He stepped into it instead. He felt its current. He listened, and he began to walk with it. Suddenly, synchronicities appeared. Guidance flowed. Effort became ease. Not because the world changed, but because he did. He became the rhythm. This is the secret. Rhythm is not mechanical. It is alive. It responds not to control, but to coherence. When your vibration becomes still steady, honest, you begin to resonate with the eternal. You move when the universe moves. You pause when it pauses. Your life becomes a prayer, not in words, but in frequency. And from this space, the separation between worlds dissolves. You do not need to ascend to reach the higher realms. You need only to become fully present, still, open, attuned. When your being becomes quiet enough, the veil between here and there grows thin. You begin to perceive the divine, not as above, but as within. Within breath, within sound, within every rhythm around you. You look at the ocean and it speaks your name. You hear the wind and it feels like memory. You sit in silence and suddenly the silence speaks. Not with voice, but with recognition. With a knowing that you are not apart from anything. This is merging, not escape, not effort, but surrender. A falling into the rhythm so fully that you forget the illusion of control and return to your natural state harmony. And from this place, manifestation becomes effortless. Not because you willed it, but because you became it. You stopped being the seeker and became the song. To live here is to walk the world with reverence, to see everything sunlight and shadow, ascent and descent as sacred rhythm, as divine music playing itself through you. You are not waiting for rhythm. You are the vessel of it. You are not praying for timing. You are the timing. Your presence, your breath, your frequency. They are the response to every question you've asked. So let yourself dissolve. Not into nothing, but into everything. Let your thoughts soften. Let your grip ease. Let your heart beat with the rhythm of stars and waves and spirit. Because you are not becoming the rhythm. You are remembering it. You are remembering you. And when you do, the stillness between worlds is no longer a place you visit. It is the place you live from. You were never lost, only out of sync. Not broken, but out of rhythm. And now, as you sit in the hush of these words, something ancient stirs, an inner remembering of the cadence you were born to follow and the stillness you were always meant to return to. This journey through the Hermetic Principle of Rhythm has not been about learning new steps, but shedding what silenced your own divine tempo. It has been a return to the center, the axis, the pulse beneath the noise, a place where worlds meet, where breath becomes prayer, where your life begins to flow, not from effort, but from alignment. So pause more often. Breathe with intention. Trust the seasons of your soul. And above all, remember, when you find stillness, you find the rhythm. And when you find the rhythm, you find the divine, not beyond the stars, but beating gently in your chest. If this message awakens something within you, leave a comment below. Share how rhythm has moved through your life. And if your soul longs to keep dancing through these ancient truths, subscribe, return, and let's walk the spiral path together. You are the rhythm. You are the stillness between worlds, and the all is listening.